Welcome to the show, this the group chat sound. Down the bayou where the light shine proud. Golden Meadow to roast, Thibodaux fight. E.D. White, 6 war, bringing heat tonight. Bayou Blue, Lockport, line it up strong. Middle school grind where the future belongs.
Hey, good evening. It is the Group Chat Podcast. We are live here. I'm Casey Gisclair. He is Nick Hebert. He is Damian St. Pierre. We got a fun show today. We're going to be chatting with Lockport football coach Jacob Roby, the undefeated Lockport Pirates, tied for first place in the Parish Lockport Pirates, rolling right now. Let's start off by talking about some football, some local football. We'll get into the LSU stuff. We'll get into the pro stuff. But let's start local. In the middle school world right now, we have a tie atop the Parish Championship chase. And frankly, it is a tie that not very many people expected it would be. We have Lockport at 3-0. We have Raceland at 3-0. This is middle school now. Thibodaux and Golden Meadow both 2-1. E.D. White and LCO both 1-2. Bayou Blue and Sixth Ward both at the bottom 0-3. The big result of the past week was Lockport getting a 12-6 win over Thibodaux Middle School. Lockport got the early season win against E.D. White, and everybody was saying, E.D. White's a little bit down. I take offense to that after seeing them play this past week. But then we learned that Lockport is actually maybe just legit. They go on the road. They beat Thibodaux 12-6. And frankly, the only points that Thibodaux scored was taking the opening kickoff to the house. Their offense did not score zip. Lockport scores in the second half to make it 6-6. We go to overtime. Lockport scores on a tush-push. Thibodaux tries to score on a tush-push. Nope. Lockport holds them back. They get a win. They're 3-0. We got there, Coach Roby, a little bit later on. But goodness almighty, we've been hearing about Lockport and saying, man, hey, look, they got a really strong team. I'll be honest. I'll go ahead and throw it out there. I didn't think they were going to beat Thibodaux this week. Well, they're for real. They're 3-0. They got a huge win. Tied with Raceland, who got a 54-0 win against Sixth Ward. Lockport and Raceland, both at the top of the standings. The two lone unbeatens. What a win for those guys.
I'm pumped up for them. I know they've been competitive in the past, but for a team to be able to go out and beat a Thibodaux, beat an E.D. White, and October 28th, a huge matchup against Raceland. I may have to go to that game. Those last football games of the season, I dread because I'm just waiting for one of my basketball kids to get hurt. And it's been like that for the past 10 years or 12 years that I've been coaching at schools. But that's a very intriguing matchup. If Lockport could take care of business and if Raceland could take care of business, Raceland's got to get through Thibodaux.
Yeah, they do.
So to make that happen, it looks like Raceland's going to have the harder road. And Lockport, not to say it's going to be easy by any stretch of imagination, but you've beaten the big dog. And to have that win in your belt is big time for your confidence, big time for your kids. And I'm pumped up to talk to Coach Roby. I was excited whenever he said he could come on today. So I'm anxious to hear him talk about his team and what's in that secret sauce that they got going on in Central Lafourche.
Yeah, no doubt, man. They're 3-0. They're playing at a very high level. Raceland 3-0 playing at a very high level. Locally, we had Golden Meadow get a win last night. They beat Bayou Blue 16-0. It was probably the most lopsided 16-0 game we've ever seen. Boy, I just felt, I was looking over, they were on the far sideline. Derek Brunet was losing his mind at times. It was a 0-0 game for the longest. Golden Meadow turned over the ball 3-4 times, all of them inside the 20-yard line. They had a situation where a punt goes right up in the air. A kid muffs it at the 8-yard line. They have a fumble going into the end zone. They have another fumble going into the end zone. They just couldn't score. And you know what was crazy? We kept mentioning it during our broadcast, which was like, hey, you leave yourself open to crazy things happening. And a crazy thing did happen. Bayou Blue broke a long play. Hayden Guidry with the hustle play of the freaking season. Should have been a fumble. We could argue about that another day.
I was going to ask you about that.
But, yeah, it was an unbelievable play. They hold them out of the end zone. Then Carter plays on us, gets the long touchdown run. They win 16-0. So Golden Meadow gets the dub. But Coach Brunet, I know, is not going to be all that thrilled with how they got the dub and some mental mistakes that they made along the way.
Those types of games as a coach, the ones you're supposed to win are the hardest to win. And being in a situation like that where nobody scored until, was it the third quarter, third quarter, somebody scored? The longer you keep those teams that technically aren't supposed to be in the game, the more confidence they build and the easier it is for them to knock you off. But credit to Hayden Guidry who probably saved the game at that point. The Bayou Blue running back had 80-yard run, or it might have been a quarterback. It might have been a draw.
Yeah, it was a draw.
And he looked like he was going to take it to the house. They came in, and Hayden tracked him down. The ball literally hit the quarterback's knee, went down. The official labeled it that he was down for some reason.
If that's a touchdown, this is a completely different game.
100%.
I still think Golden Meadow wins, but it would be 8-6 after that touchdown if Bayou Blue makes that 2-point conversion, tie ball game. If they don't, I think Golden Meadow just marches down and does what they actually did. That could have been a completely different ball game if it wasn't for that hustle play by, is it Hayden Guidry?
Hayden Guidry.
Kudos to that guy. That was a game-saving tackle.
And man, if you go back and you watch when the quarterback breaks the line, Guidry is being blocked and he's 15 yards behind the quarterback. He makes up 15 yards and catches him at like the 10-yard line. Just unbelievable hustle. And the thing to shout out also is that he wasn't alone. Maddox Vegas was there trailing the play. There were others trailing the play. That's buy-in. And I'll go so far as to say this. When you go and watch Carter Plaisance his touchdown run, you see some guys in orange pulling up. Mm-hmm. The guys in red were not pulling up whenever they had their chance. There were some guys in orange that were pulling up.
Reminded me of, was it Buda Baker and DK Metcalf a few years ago when Metcalf chased them down?
It was the Don Beebe, Steve Tasker deal from the Super Bowl.
100%.
But look, I wanted to shout out Maddox Vega. He was right there. As soon as the ball was fumbled, he had it.
He recovered it.
And there were some comments. I was reading on Bayou Sports. Shout out Bayou Sports with their great coverage as always. He might have taken that to the house.
Boy, wouldn't that have been something?
That would have been a big-time turn of events.
He would have been exhausted.
Maddox is like Kevin Gates. You don't get tired.
So great win for Golden Meadow.
A couple of things I noticed in that game. At one point, I think it was in the second quarter, Golden Meadow just started running a hurry-up offense. That's unheard of in middle school ball. Like, it usually takes them almost every second of the play clock to get the play in and snap the ball. But, I mean, they got great leadership with savvy veteran quarterback Jacob Davis. They got CWP running back. I'm trying to coin the new that Carter Wayne plays on. CWP. Let's just call him that. You heard it here on the Group Chat podcast, CWP. You got Big Russ in his offensive line, savvy veterans on that team, running a hurry-up offense in middle school. Very impressive.
Was that in need, or was that some just Coach Brunet? Because, look, Coach Brunet got some stuff. I've been doing that cat for a while.
They weren't running out of time. They just said, we're running no huddle, and they did it. And they didn't have any false starts or anything. They did it.
Do you think that's just something they were having issues executing on the drives, or some Coach Brunet say, hey, look, let's try something different because obviously we just need maybe change of pace and let's go do something else?
I think he thought that they could just break them down and tire them out, and I think that's exactly what they ended up doing. So good on them for identifying that.
Another shout-out to Jacob Davis for his hard count, drawing those Bayou Blue defenders offsides over and over and over and over.
Can you imagine the frustration of the coaching staff there at Bayou Blue when you start off the
timeouts in the first
you start off the game with 4 straight offsides penalties? and yes, you're right. Their coach, he didn't like the way they lined up on the first play of the game, called a timeout. Then after the 3rd straight offsides penalty, called a timeout. They were down to 1 timeout like 2 minutes into the first half. But Golden Meadow gets a 16-0 win. E.D. White gets a 28-0 win against LCO in a game where LCO really struggled on the offensive side. And the message that I would have for a lot of people in the parish is pay no mind to those standings that have E.D. White 1 and 2. Pay no mind to this idea that E.D. White is down and all that. No. If you got them on the schedule, they are dangerous. They could beat you. They've got some size. They got some dudes. They throw it. If I'm Lockport, if I'm whoever, I'm being very wary if I got E.D. White on my schedule, because that's not a bad football team. They had some injuries. They had some issues early. They are a team that could bust up the top of those standings a little later on.
They're going to catch some steam. Looked like they found their way late in the second quarter against La Rose. Look, LCO kept it close. I don't know if there was a score right before half, and then things just kind of fell off with maybe a pick six, a fumble, and E.D. White just kind of rolled with that. Looked like the more experienced club out there. I know LCO's got some guys that are down. I want to shout out Roddy John Gisclair, a little guy, young man that I've been knowing for quite a while. Seems like everybody's keying on him. He's the key player for the Bulldogs right now, and he's doing a good job of keeping everybody's heads up and working. Offensive side of the ball, it's like he's getting a touch at least 3 times a possession. And then on the defensive side of the ball, he's almost on every single tackle. So I want to shout out him as well.
Roddy John is on every single tackle. If Roddy John doesn't make the tackle, we in trouble on defense. We, LCO. Yeah, I'm an LCO guy. It was a miserable game to watch Edie White come into South Lafourche and beat the brakes off of us. Looked like stormtroopers in our all-white helmets and white uniforms and all. We got a lot of injuries. Probably 4 of our top 5 kids are out.
Yep.
It's going to be a long season. These games are long. It's not a great time to be a LCO Bulldog right now.
Got some winnable games on there, though. You still got a few that you could take. I think they could take Bayou Blue. The Golden Medal game is going to be competitive.
That's going to be rough.
They got some opportunities. Got to get healthy and got to get right.
Shout out to Roddy John. Shout out to our injured guys. It would be great to see them back. Grant Bychurch, one of the fastest kids in the school. Caden Fonseca, another really fast kid. Big Howard McLean. What's his name? Brett Johnson out.
Yep. Broken arm.
So we got Roddy John in the backfield, and we got 11 guys on the other side keying in on him. Kind of tough to get Roddy in the open field. But, yeah, on defense, he is definitely holding it down on the defensive side.
Yeah, no doubt.
You know what? Welcome to real life.
Yeah, no, it's tough, man. It is tough. Next week, LCO and Raceland, ED White and Bayou Blue, Thibodaux and Golden Meadow, 6th Ward and Lockport. Just looking at it on paper, I think there's a pretty clear favorite in every one of those games. I think Lockport would be favored over 6th Ward. Thibodaux would be favored over Golden Meadow. EDY would be favored over Bayou Blue. Raceland would be favored over LCO. But that's why they play the game.
Shout out to the Lockport Pirate football podcast, Darby Bourgeois, for sitting in that video of the Lockport Thibodaux game.
I love Darby's play-by-play where he was talking directly to me. It's 1st and goal, Casey. Look at this, bruh.
We need to hire Darby. He's already a sponsor.
Yeah.
No, I love
did.
him.
I think it might have been on Snapchat. I don't remember. I've seen it somewhere, but he actually sat down at a desk and talked throughout the game, and he called it the Lockport Pirate Football Podcast.
I love it.
I was like,
absolutely love it. Let's go to the phone lines. We got our first call-in guest, and it is one that we are looking forward to chatting with. It is Coach Jacob Roby of the Lockport Pirates, fresh off of a huge win against Thibodaux Middle School. Coach Roby, good evening, sir. How are we doing tonight?
I'm doing great, guys. How are y'all?
Doing good, bro. Man, I got to tell you, I can't imagine what it's like every day to be with this football team because, man, locally, you guys are like a traveling rock band, man. Everybody's so fired up. Everybody's so excited to see what you guys have been doing. Congratulations on the win. Talk us through the last couple of days, man.
Yeah, it's been a pretty unreal experience. We just have a great group of kids. They're great athletes, but they're also great people, great students. And yeah, it's been a crazy couple of days, that's for sure.
Talk us through the game, bro. They take the opening kickoff to the house. They go up 6-0. From what I understand from some people who were there, you guys were knocking on the door the whole game and just couldn't quite break through. Then you finally do. Then right at the end of regulation, Thibodaux was flirting with it. You guys hold them back. Then in overtime, you score. You get the stop. Talk us through the game. What were some of the things that were going through your mind as that game was playing out?
Yeah, man, what a game. It was unreal. First and foremost, though, I gotta shout out Thibodaux, man. That's a very talented, very well coached team. Coach Riley, in my opinion, is one of the best coaches in the area, regardless of classification. I really respect that man. He does a great job of motivating those young men. But yeah, they returned that opening kickoff for a touchdown, and honestly, I thought it was going to be a long night for us, but man, the way those kids responded, it was just awesome to witness. I have to give, all the flowers to our defense. That was an amazing performance. They did not score after that opening kickoff. Thibodaux, they have some great athletes, but we found a way to clamp them down. We tackled extremely well. We played great in coverage. Our defensive coordinator, Ryan Naquin, I got to give him a shout out. He put in one hell of a game plan. And he deserves all the credit in the world for that performance that his defense showed. Thibodaux, they like to spread you out a lot with, different multi-receiver sets. They want to give their athletes the ball in space. And like you were saying, they were able to do that. They had some success, but man, when they got to the red zone, our defense just clamped down. We were able to tackle very well. and we played great in coverage, which is something we worked on, all week leading up to that game. They were able to move the ball on us, but when they got into the red zone, our defense really stiffened up. But that game was a real fist fight, man. Just great athletes on both sides of the ball, just going at it. And our kids knew it was going to be a fight going in, and it was a very physical game. Thibodaux had great line play on offense and defense, but so did we. And it kind of became a war of attrition, and we were fortunate enough to get out of there with a victory at the end. Offensively, again, as you were saying, we were gaining some yards in chunks, but a lot like Thibodaux's offense, once we got into the red zone, we kind of struggled a bit. They were bringing the house on us. They were blitzing, so they were coming with sometimes 8-9 guys. So it was definitely tough. We were definitely trading punches there. Going into the game, we kind of saw on film, they like to blitz their two middle linebackers, and so we were working on some quick passes to kind of attack the middle of their defense to kind of take advantage of that, and it paid off. We knew going in that we'd have to complete some passes in order to win, and we did that. Both of our touchdowns were runs, but they were set up by quick passes over the middle. Shout out to our quarterback, man, Noah Wylie. He's been a starter for us since 6th grade. Did a fantastic job, not only on offense, but also on defense. Javari Poindexter, our running back, who made one of those clutch catches to set up our first touchdown. Dexter Hebert, our slot receiver, made that second clutch catch to set up our second touchdown. Both Javari and Dexter, they've been playing lights out offense and defense. And look, I'm an old offensive lineman. I'm the head coach, but I also coach the offensive line, so I've got to shout out my offensive line. We had pretty much the same starting group last year, so this offensive line's got a lot of experience coming in. That's Vincent Lusko, our center, Brody Carmadell, our guard, Oliver Dufresne, our tackle, Jay Sean Bowden, our other tackle, and Easton Gidry, our guard. And I think the game really came down to that line, those possessions in overtime. And man, we did enough to pull it out. It was an amazing experience. It really was.
Talk me through it, man. They are at the 1-yard line. It's 4th and goal. They are doing the same play that you guys scored on in overtime. It's a quarterback sneak trying to push them in. They couldn't do it. Whenever you see the referee on the sideline come in and he's saying no good, what's going through your mind, and what do you remember seeing and hearing on that sideline?
I just remember being so happy for the players. The sight of the night for me was just watching our guys embrace each other, and hug each other, and telling each other that they loved each other. To me, that was the highlight of the night. One of my assistants, Coach Charles False, he's been talking a lot to the players about the concept of team over me, which is just prioritizing the team over individual stats and individual accomplishments, and just to see them come together as a team, that to me was that's why we play. That's definitely what we want to see. So yeah, to me that's what stands out. It's just the camaraderie that those guys showed.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Now look, the next step I think for you guys is the boys now know that they're really good. The Parish knows now that you guys are really good. How do you get the boys to not eat the cheese and keep doing the things that got you guys to 3-0?
Yeah, we talked to them about that. It's we're not. We've won 3 games. We still have more than a half a season left. They know that we're a marked team, that it would make anybody's season to beat us, and so we have to come with that same intensity that we came with on Tuesday for every other game that we play. And playing in this parish, there are no easy games. Every team that we can play from here on out can beat us. We just have to do what we know we can do.
No doubt, my friend. Hey, look, tell me about this. Tell us about Noah Wylie. He's a kid who, special athlete, multi-year starter at quarterback. You mentioned the impact he makes on defense as well. Feels like one of those guys that just is a leader, and the kids kind of rally around his energy. Tell us about what he means to your football team.
Oh, man, he means so much. He's, like you said, a leader, I think, is the best word to describe him. The kids look up to him, and he will, our team will go as far as he takes us. And just so excited to have him on the team. And he's a kid that not just his athleticism, but just who he is as a person is just special. And that kid's got a bright future, whether it's in sports or whatever else he decides to do. He's going to be successful at it, no doubt.
What's next for you guys in terms of the opponent? And middle school's a little different. Sometimes you got a week to prepare. I was talking to Coach Wiltz earlier today. They go in a stretch where they got a Thursday and then a Tuesday. The amount of time in between games is always different. So what's next? And how do you guys adjust to kind of an uneven schedule, so to speak?
It was kind of uneven for us at the beginning, but it's going to kind of level out now. We played Tuesday. Next week we also play on a Tuesday. We play Sixth Ward. And then we play LCO. I believe that game's on a Thursday, so that gives us a little time. And then there's that week off. And then we have Golden Meadow and Raceland to close out the season. I believe both of those games are Tuesdays, if I'm not mistaken. So it's kind of leveling out for us. Our first game was a Monday, and Monday games are never any fun to prepare for. But luckily, we don't have any more of those. So we do kind of have a short week coming up, but it's going to kind of level out for us.
Coach, you got a lot of people around the parish that are somewhat surprised by the success that your ball club is having currently. I know you got a lot of young men that have played a lot of significant snaps through their 6th and 7th grade year. Is this success at all surprising, or is this something that you kind of knew was coming this year?
I am not surprised. I knew this was a special group. I worked with Coach Allen for the past several years, coaching the offensive line under him. And shout out to Coach Allen, man. He deserves a lot of credit for this. He helped develop those kids. I still talk to him frequently. I talked to him earlier today, as a matter of fact. Every game, at the end of each game, that's the first guy I talk to is Coach Allen. So definitely want to shout out him and just recognize his, part that's in our season that's so far that's, taken place. And we used to talk, we said, I think this year will be our year that we can challenge for the championship. So we knew what we had. It's just amazing to see it, come to fruition or, on the way to fruition. I don't want to say it's there yet because we got a long way to go. To see it starting to come together is great.
Absolutely. And credit to Coach Allen. He's the one that actually shared your contact so we could get in touch, and appreciate you, Tom. Appreciate him getting you in touch, getting us in touch with you and vice versa. Coach, and forgive me because I don't know, tell us a little bit about your background. I know you said you coached a couple years under Coach Allen. Did you play high school? Where'd you go? And give us just a little background on yourself for folks that may not know.
Yeah, sure. I was I graduated from 2002 from Central Lafourche. I played football since I was probably 9 years old, coming up to the ranks of Bantam. Played high school ball under Coach Randy Bro. Yeah, I was an offensive lineman all my life, so that's kind of my mindset. That's kind of the what I like to coach. I have a great group of assistants that kind of helped me out a lot. I've already mentioned Ryan Naquin and Charles Foss. There's also Jacob Roby, who was also a great high school player. One of my teammates for my sophomore year. He was a great defensive end for Central. Guy with some head coaching experience and really helping me out a lot. But after high school, went into college and became a teacher. Football was kind of an afterthought for me. Kind of got pulled back in with Coach Allen, and he wanted some help and kind of fell back in love with it. So I've been helping Coach Allen for about 4 years now. So this is going on my 5th year back in as a coach. And it's been an awesome experience.
That's legit, bro. Look, tell me about this. I know coaches are never satisfied. You guys did get the win against Thibodaux. You guys are 3-0, yes. What are some areas that you guys are looking to improve upon to try to reach your ultimate goal, which is going to be to try to win the Parish championship?
Yeah, you never play a perfect game, right? We were watching film today and kind of going over all the mistakes. Always working on blocking, making sure we open up those holes for those guys. And really just the little things, the fakes, the blocking. There's definitely a lot we can improve upon, and we're going to try to do that, every day at practice from here on out.
No doubt, my friend. How's the health of the team through 3 games? I know middle school is a little different in that if you lose one player, very often you're losing 2 starters, but there's so many guys who go both ways. How's the health of the Lockport Pirates so far?
So far, man, so good. Of course, after that battle with Thibodaux, we had some guys sore, but no major injuries, man, knock on wood. That was something that kind of plagued us last year. We had a couple guys out with some concussions. That's a big one for us. We're hoping to finish out these next 4 games without any significant injury, because that would definitely present a problem for us if we'd have to overcome any significant injury.
Look, man, last question I got for you, man. How exciting is it just in the community in general? Obviously, I know the people in Lockport are jacked up, but Raceland as well. You mentioned it a second ago. You guys are you are a Central Lafourche guy. You know, that community is very tight-knit. The fact that you guys got, I don't know, however many boys you got, 40, 50 boys. Raceland's got 28, 29 boys that are all going to be going to Central Lafourche that could all really play. It's got to be super exciting time for, just that community knowing, man, there's some bright days coming for the green and gold.
Very exciting. Raceland's got a very talented team as well. And I can't wait to see what these guys are going to do when they get together as teammates, the next couple of years at Central. I think they should have a strong team for the next several years to come. That's for sure.
No doubt. Coach, we thank you so much for the time, boss. Hey, keep the train rolling, dude. We look forward to seeing you guys continue this journey, my friend.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yep. We thank Coach Roby so much for his time here on the group chat. They are doing a good job. 3-0, playing at a high level. Man, they got that buy-in right now. Their kids believe. And at the end of the day, I love what he said, man. Like, hey, my coaching staff was good. We were good at the lines of scrimmage. We got a leader at quarterback. They got a winning recipe. They've got a recipe that makes a damn good gumbo right now, and they're 3-0, and they're doing a good job.
Tell you what, anytime you get an offensive line guy as a head coach, you're going to get some fire, you're going to get some discipline, and that is what I keep hearing about the Lockport Pirates, how disciplined they are, how excited they are to play, and I'm pumped up for them. It's almost like rooting for the underdog. Everybody's going to be for the underdog. Lockport hasn't done this year in and year out, but who knows? Under the tutelage of Coach Roby, that could be a normal thing for Lockport to be able to compete at the top end of the parish.
No doubt. So super jacked up for them and really, really excited to see how far they could take it.
Welcome to the show. This the group chat sound. Down the bayou where the light shine proud. Golden Meadow to roast. Thibodaux fight. Edie White 6 war. Bringing heat tonight. Bayou blue Lockport. Line it up strong. Middle school grind where the future belong.